Okay, so how many people are a little clearer as to how to begin, how to get started, how to get this thing to rock and roll? Yes? How many people are still a little bit uncertain about it? How many people would like more practice with it? All right, good. And like I said, I spend a lot of time on it to point out the nuances, because one thing in common with everything that everybody has to present, there is a beginning. Right? Okay, everybody's got a beginning, and so you got to start someplace, and if you know how to start, then you continue to restart. That's how the thing goes. Okay? There's only one problem with everybody switching seats. By the way, you know why you switch seats, right? Why? Different perspective. Good. What else? New energy, participation, accelerated learning. Yeah. Well, what about accelerated learning? Why? Whole brain. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, new environment. Yeah. The other thing is people get territorial. Sales dogs, right? It's funny. Harvard and I were talking about book publishing. Is that I had to go round and round with Warner with this book, because for those who haven't seen it, we talk about there's 5 different types of sales dogs. I mentioned that, and I put a friend of mine is a great cartoonist. He used to do cartoons for Sesame Street, and he wrote those little cartoons in here that depict different pieces. So chapter 16 is, whose fire hydrant is this anyway? Secrets of Territory Management. And so, I don't know if you can see this, but I had a great picture of a dog, a cartoon of a dog going up to this guy's desk and going like this. And Warner says, you can't put that in the book. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's supposed to be funny. I was like, nope. So I had to make one where the dog's looking at the desk with a vision of a fire hydrant in his head. It works. Anyway. No, but people do. They get territorial. And what happens is they actually begin to grow roots from their butt into the seat. And what happens is they become very safe there. Now remember, we're in the business of what? What's the business of what? So we're in the business of transformation. Is you've got to continue to change that in order to re-challenge the brain. Okay? I mean, we talk about, the things about, the fact of the matter is that you keep having you do high fives. Why do we do that? Energy. Look, one of the things I normally put up, I didn't have to here, but usually the second flip chart, after I go through all of this, what's in it for me, by that point, I've probably asked a good 15 or 20 questions already for me. May not be for you, but for me, I've asked about 20 questions at that point. And so I see the blank looks and people kind of going, and I said, so then what do I do? What do you do at that point? This is another key piece here. It's called what's it called? What's it called? Which means you got to tell it as it is. How many people have ever talked to somebody? How many of you have ever talked to somebody who was nodding their head, but you had this sneaking suspicion they had something else on their mind? How many people have been the other person? Okay, good. And so part of it is that if you let that go, the brain checks out. They are not present. Remember we talked about it earlier, physically there, mentally gone. So the way to how many people would like to know how to get somebody present again? Oh, yeah. How many would like to do it one-on-one or one in front of 10,000? Yeah. So if you have the suspicion that something else is going on in there, in their little voice, what do? What's it called? As is it. Say, oh, hold on, just call time out here for a second. Excuse me. How many people here right now are hungry? Or how many people here are hot? Or how many people have their brain on something else right now? Or how many people really are not buying it? Whatever you suspect it. Everybody understand, yes? Now, here's the cool news. Turn to somebody and say, what's the cool news? Okay, since you asked, I'll tell you. The cool news is this. There's no downside to this. There is no downside. Look, you could be wrong. And they go, no, I wasn't thinking that. They might be lying. They might be telling you the truth. But if you as is it, one thing I will guarantee that will happen is what? They'll be present. The fastest way to wake up a room. Look, how many people in this room are sleepy right now? The person's like... Because once you clear that out of the subconscious, they're now present again. They're not considering anything else, at least for that moment. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, good. So, one of the things that like I said, that I don't normally do, I didn't do here, but I normally do, that's what I'm trying to say, is that by that time people are sitting there going like, so I have to as is it. What do I have to do? As is. Otherwise the energy is going to go where? Down. So I say, look, how many of you right now notice that I ask a lot of questions? They're going, good. How many of you are sick of the questions already? Good, thank you. How many people are sick of raising your hand? As is, as is, as is. And usually they laugh. And I go, okay, great. So now what have I done? I've gotten them back into what? All those skeptics are going, oh, what's he asking all those questions? All that going on, right? Everybody understand? Yeah. Okay, this is for those of you that are dealing with cold audiences and you're going to use this methodology. Look, there's no reason for you to have to kill yourself in this process. I've already done that once for all of you. You don't have to do it, okay? And then what I say is at this point, how many notice I ask a lot of questions? How many people are sick of the questions? You can write those down. Write them down. Use the words. How many notice how many are sick of them already? Good, thank you. Okay, good. So I don't do this to manipulate you. Right there, I'm addressing baby boomers. Baby boomers hate to be manipulated. They pride themselves on being intelligent. Their number one scourge is somebody trying to take advantage or make them feel stupid. So I gotta say it. I'm not here to make you feel stupid or manipulate you. I'm not here to make you feel dumb. That's belongers. That's the one they hate. Belongers. Those are people that are like, drink Budweiser beer, you know, have flags waving from their trucks as they go flying down the road. You know, those guys. No offense. Nothing wrong. No, nothing wrong. I'm not putting judgment on it. Just they fall into different Madison Avenue spent a lot of... Look, I'm in sales. The whole idea is you got to find out who is your target market, who's your audience, who are you talking to, and you're trying to enroll what percent of your target market. Everybody understand? So I use language to address everybody because I don't know who's in the room to begin with. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I say the reason I do this is because the reason I ask these questions is very much of a selling style, teaching style I learned, and the reason I don't normally talk like this, but the reason I do it is this. And then I go into this mode and I say, if I stood in front of the room and said, okay, for the next couple hours, we're going to talk about how to be a great trainer. It's the most exciting thing you think about. I got 500 PowerPoint slides that I'm going to go through with 12 bullet points on each PowerPoint slide. How many people would start falling asleep pretty quickly? Good. Anybody ever been to a presentation like that? Okay, good. So, I'm not going to do that. One of the things that I have learned over the years when it comes to, and this is true for whatever seminar I do, learning, selling, anything. In this case, when it comes to teaching or learning, is learning requires what? Energy. And then I'll typically look at them and I'm going, that was pathetic.